Hello and welcome to Garden Planning with a Biodynamic Moon Calendar for November 2023. This is most useful if you are in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I recommend that you first take a look at this free download. I've got the link in the comments, and my approach to helping home gardeners, community groups, workplaces use a biodynamic moon calendar is to start with your goals for your garden this month and figure out if there are any biodynamic preparations that you're going to be using and what your composting goals are. And from that, then go find the key dates in the biodynamic calendar and see if you've got some wiggle room to sort of plan the tasks to fit in particular weeks or even specific days. What I find with a lot of my customers is that they're following Gardening by the Moon planners written by full-time farmers who have a lot of freedom and flexibility to schedule their tasks. And this month I am down in Otepoti, Dunedin, babysitting my granddaughter who's nearly 2, and realizing just how busy life is when you're not a full-time gardener. So let's get into the key dates for November. I've got the full moon, Monday the 27th, the new moon, Monday the 13th, moon opposite Saturn on Tuesday the 7th. Then the month starts with a couple of days in the descending period, then 2 weeks in ascending, 2 weeks in descending, and a couple of days at the end of the month back in the ascending. The nodes are on the 11th and the 24th of November. All of that information I get onto an A4 sheet that's printable. This is within the Blue Borage Gardening by the Moon subscription program. Let me know if you would like a link to get into that. And if that's all the information you need, then 2.5 minutes you can click out and go get into planning your gardening tasks for the month. But if you'd like to see what I'm working on, then stick around. So my 5 gardens. Top left is the soil farm where I live in Whangarata. Excuse me, coughing. Top right is the museum pollinator garden. That was the day I first saw it and said, please, can we stop spraying weed killer? Bottom right is the Shada Centre Food Forest. That was the first week when I went, oh, I love this space. Can we fill this with flowers and herbs and gentle pathways meandering through? Bottom left is the Whangarata Community Hall, which is a couple of minutes from where I live in Whangarata, and it's the old school building that was closed in 1986, became a community centre, and it's barely used. And so I'm working with a few other people in the community to see if there are groups who would like to make use of the space. And the groups I'm focusing on at the moment are artists to come in and help me showcase the composting of weeds in a way that doesn't require any toxic weed killers. So I call that holistic weed management, but I'm trying to think of a more appealing name for that. And the circle in the middle is Hazel's garden. So Hazel's my granddaughter. Her mother is Jessica, who's my younger daughter. This is Jessica's home in Dunedin. There's no lawn, there's not much garden, and we've been putting in worm farms and container gardens. So a little progress updates of each of these. Top left, the soil farm. I am just loving how the composting is working, and I'm ready to open this up for one-to-one composting, garden coaching, seed sowing, making potting mix, container gardening, worm farming, basic biodynamics, and of course the holistic weed management. So rather than packing the car A lot of what I teach can't actually be packed in the car, but it's all set up at the soil farm. So there'll be links down below to my Humanitics profile where you can see the workshops that are coming up in November. Top right, the museum pollinator garden, all the dahlia tubers. I pulled them up, stored them over winter, and they're now starting to send out these little green shoots, which means they're waking up and they're ready to go into the ground. And a couple of weeks ago, I'm recording this on the 23rd of October. So I was at the River Road Market in Tuakau, and lots of people are interested in coming to see the pollinator garden this summer and share tubers, help plant sunflower seeds. The workshops I teach at the museum are all free of charge, and the volunteers are there on a Thursday morning, and the museum is also open on a Sunday afternoon. So again, look at the link below for the workshops that are in the calendar for November. Bottom right, the Shada Centre Food Forest. I'll be hosting a biodynamic 500 stir, fingers crossed, before the end of November. I think there's a day we've got scheduled for hot compost build. Off the top of my head, that's Friday the 17th, but double check the dates in the comments below. Bottom left, Whangarata Community Hall. I have been working on turning the jasmine into compost. So this is one little length of jasmine that I brought home just to study it, and I hung it in the window. Completely overwhelmed myself with the smell of jasmine for a couple of days, and then observed just how long it takes it to wilt once it's cut. In the middle there is Little Hazel, who is my favourite worm farmer in the world. Lovely moment each day when we go out to feed her worms and water the garden and snap twigs and collect rocks and feed the birds. It's been delightful. So plans for the month. Top left, Blue Borage Soil Farm. Plant up my summer garden as soon as I get home from Dunedin. It's into all the summer courgettes and beans and capsicums, tomatoes. Because I've been away, I may have to go buy some seedlings from the garden centre, which is something I don't normally do, but it's been a good exercise in learning what life is like for a lot of my customers that just don't have time to sow seeds. So the next point there at the soil farm is to set up these one-to-one garden coaching slots. So the soil farm will become a classroom, and that starts the 13th of November. Next up, Whangarata Community Hall. I'll be connecting with more artists to show them that space. If you know someone who you think would enjoy using this space for art lessons, put them in touch with me. I will have lots of photos up in a blog post soon to spread the word for that. I'm also part of a group that's looking into setting up a North Waikato Arts Trust. So anyone in that sort of North Waikato, South Auckland area, this little hall would be perfect to hire as an affordable venue by the hour or by the day. Now, my birthday celebration. I turn 50 on the 8th of December, and I have booked the hall for a couple of days to make a birthday hot compost pile and gather all my favourite people to come and celebrate soil and do some creative artwork with weeds and just kind of go, yeah, it's my birthday. I don't normally celebrate my birthday, but because it's my 50th, I figured I should. The other thing with the Whangarata Hall is to really investigate why the council needs to use weed killer. What would it take for them to stop? Over on the right, Hazel's garden. I will plant up their summer garden before I leave and try and set up the world's tidiest, lowest maintenance compost system. My daughter Jessica is not into composting. The museum pollinator garden, get all those dahlia tubers in the ground, and I think it would be fun to set up some seed swaps. So check out the links below for the dates of that. Then finally, the Shada Centre. I have a customer who asked me to set up a circular gardening membership to connect at the Shada Centre, gather people together for monthly meetings. So that will start, I think, the first Monday of December. So there'll be more information of that coming up in my emails, social media, and in the comments below this video. So based on my goals, this is what my month looks like. First week is dedicated to Hazel's garden, and I'm not even bothering to look at the moon calendar. We are just doing what fits the exam timetable, what fits her sleep schedule, what fits my energy levels, and I think for 90% of gardeners, that's the reality. We don't often get the flexibility to time things with the moon. So once I get back to whangarata, it is deep dive into soil farm classes, catching up at the museum at Shara, or soil farm classes back to the museum. And then the last week of the month will be preparing for the birthday celebrations. So I haven't even really paid too much attention to when I'm going to do that 500 stir. Will it be optimally timed with the moon calendar? We'll see. So that's how I am working. Now, if you would like help to plan your garden tasks in alignment with the biodynamic moon calendar, then get in touch by email, katrina@blueborage.co.nz. I'll also put a booking link in the comments under this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next month.